Welcome to the AFC West Roundtable, a weekly live show featuring top-tier insight and analysis on all things AFC West. From the best creators in the division, including Denver Broncos creator Ryan, Kansas City Chiefs creator Marcus, Las Vegas Raiders creator Samoan, and Los Angeles Chargers creators Bolt Bros. Catch the AFC West Roundtable every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the AFC West Roundtable YouTube channel. AFC West Roundtable, welcome back into another episode here of the AFC West Roundtable, a show brought to you by Roundtable Sports. Today, as always, we're going to be breaking down this past week of football, of course, also previewing the upcoming week of Week 15. A lot of very good games, as you can see. The AFC West still not changed up. It feels like it's the same every single week, guys. Come on, give me something new. Give me something new. Can we get Samoan to number 3 at some point, right? Can we get somebody new at number 1 for at least a week? No, we feel like this has been the same layout for a very long time. Now, for those who don't know, you might be saying, maybe this is just the same layout every single week with these guys in their respective boxes. No, we actually do something fun here at the AFC West Roundtable. We put the guys in their boxes based off of who's number 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the AFC West. The reason they're the same every single week is because it quite literally is the same every single week. But let's go around the table. Let's see how these guys are doing before we get into everything that happened in Week 14. Ryan, let's start off with you. You guys had a pretty good week here against the Raiders. Man, I feel like it was one of those, respectfully, no hate to the Broncos, but I feel like it was one of those real first dominant win, like from quarter 1 to quarter 4, just true dominance here by the Denver Broncos.
I mean, yeah, aside from the Cowboys game where we really blew them out, this was a dominant game. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It was against the number 1 offense in the league, and we held them down. But this week was great. Probably first game I would say that all 3 phases were like very dominant. Like special teams, Marvin Mims punt return, offense. They kept it vanilla, but they could put up points keeping it vanilla. Like they didn't really show anything. They game planned much better than last time, so that we didn't have that 10-7 game garbage. But RJ Harvey ran very well, and then defense was solid. Did give up some points right at the end, like the final 2 minutes, which is not ideal. You want them to hold it down all the way through and finish. That was really Riley Moss, but yeah, whatever, screw him. But yeah, great week. And just stacking these dubs. Now we got Green Bay coming up next week, and in Denver, luckily, and they just came off a big win, so got to get that dub as well to stay ahead of the Chargers because they're right on our tails again.
You know, I saw a Riley Moss hater burner account the other day on social media, and the first person I thought of was you, Ryan. So I don't know if that's you, man, but it's gaining traction. So if it is, keep up the good work.
I'm going to follow it, though.
You're going to respect. Let's go on over to you, James. James, very, very good win for you guys. I mean, I don't know, my personal opinion, that might have been the game of the week. I mean, just electrifying from quarter 1 to quarter 4, the way that game ends. I feel like a lot of people didn't expect you guys to win this football game, but you guys were able to, and I think that's a big statement for you guys when maybe you needed it the most.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And, I came back from this game this morning. Voice is a little harsh. It's a little bit off today, but guess what? I'm here with you guys. I'm just like Justin Herbert, where he's going out there willing his way with one hand, finding a way to get the dub against the Eagles. What a game. Probably my favorite game I've ever been to in my life.
Wow.
To be able to see that type of game and the way that we won that was a game we normally don't win. And we found a way at the last second or last opportunity, essentially, in this game to basically pull this one out, man. And it was an amazing, amazing game and amazing experience to be there, man. So great times.
What an absurd interception that was too, to just solidify in overtime, to just read it in zone and then tip the ball and then intercept it, but reel it in with one hand and then drag the toes, man. You just don't see stuff like that every single week. So definitely excited to get into that game. Marcus, let's go down to you, man. I feel like this is a loaded question, but it feels pretty solidified. You guys aren't winning the AFC West. Chances are you guys are not going into the playoffs. We said a couple of weeks ago, it was have to win out to make the postseason. You lose on Thanksgiving. The Chiefs ruined Marcus's Thanksgiving, ruined the sweet potatoes and all that good stuff for him, which we hated to hear. And then he said, look, maybe we could drop one game, but from here on out, we have to win. And that week, they go out against the Texans, and they, again, end up losing the football game. And so where are you at this point? I feel like you're kind of going to be heading into a new era of the Kansas City Chiefs, to where Andy Reid feels like he's on the back end of his coaching career here, potentially. Travis Kelce, this might be his final year. What is just going through your head as a Chiefs fan, really for the first time under Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, seeing just a total collapse?
So they ruined my Thanksgiving 2 weeks ago, and then today's my birthday. And
damn it.
They ruined my birthday this week as well. So
one job.
Not a good streak. Not a good streak for our boys. Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of foresaw that this could potentially be the last year of Travis Kelce's career. I will say he did have a lot of drops on. I think he's top 5 in drops in the season. If 3 drops on Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if he come back for 1 year. I mean, like, he's tight end 2 this year. I mean, right. Trey McBride's number 1, and Kelce's number 2 in most of all tight end metrics. So if he did come back for 1 more year, I'd be okay with that. Andy Reid, I don't know if it's the back end of his career. I won't say that. I do think as long as Mahomes is there, I don't think Andy Reid's going to want to go anywhere. I know there's a lot of Chiefs fans who say he needs to go. But again, I think this year is just one of those years, man, where just not everything can go your way, and everything's going the opposite way this year. We're not going to be getting 50-50 balls. It's just fucking just one way over the other. So it's just one of those years. I can't really make sense of it anymore. But yeah, we're 6-7 team, and technically we're not out of it yet. I think we have like a 15% chance of making the playoffs. If we lose, however, it is over. I think we have a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs if we lose to the Chargers. So this week is technically the must-win game.
Hey, James, Chargers need to take a loss here. Let us ruin their Christmas. Let us ruin their Christmas.
So you'll
Thanksgiving, his birthday, and Christmas.
No.
Yeah, right.
That's what we want to do. We want to do that. Thank you.
No, because we play them on Christmas.
Oh, you want to be the
Well,
Grinch? Okay.
That's already happened to me before. The Raiders did that to me a couple years ago on Christmas. So all the holidays.
We're talking about this year. We're talking about right now, though. I want to ruin your Christmas this year. I want to.
We still got the Chiefs too. Right?
The Holy Trinity: your birthday, Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
I will say,
birthday and Christmas. Wow.
Ironically, I'll be in Cancun on Sunday for my girlfriend's sister's wedding. So it would be kind of ironic if we lose that Chargers game and I'm in Cancun. So I'll be where the Chiefs will be playing their trips to.
Stay a few weeks.
I feel like we need to get a picture. I feel like we need a picture of Marcus, just nice background in Cancun. We're going to post here to the AFC West Roundtable community tab. Marcus is already in Cancun, and the season ain't over yet,
Save
man.
some chairs for the team.
2025. I just feel like there's a prime opportunity there we definitely have to take advantage of. But, man, big shout-out to Marcus riding with us here every single week, despite maybe being on a downward trajectory. Everybody give Marcus love in the chat. Happy birthday to our guy at the end of the day.
Thanks,
it is all love. It's all football,
Thanks,
and that's our guy. Speaking of downhill battle, let's go on over to you, Simone. How you feeling?
Hey, Marcus, don't worry. We'll get everything ready in Cancun for you. We basically been here all season long, but it's kind of comfy down here on the bottom half of the screen because we've been here all season long. And I mean, just another week, same results. Nothing more I can really say about this team. It's kind of crazy that the season's not over, but it felt like it's been over since week 6. At this point, you know, I'm just here just for a good time, you know, just to hang out with you guys and just talk about the game. But hey, we're one step closer to that number 1 pick, though.
Gino's injured. You guys aren't winning football games. I mean, it's like what is there to really look at? Like, is it just are you guys looking at player development? Like, is that what Raiders fans are excited for by watching these games? Is just the young player development, or?
I think that's the only thing we could look at other than, you know, the draft position right now. But I look, you feel like the Raiders might fuck that up too and win like some meaningless games. And then we'll just fall back right at what 5, 6, 7, or 8 and just be out of contention for a quarterback. But I mean, that's what I'm looking at. I know a lot of Raider fans want to just see the young players play. And some of them actually played pretty good this last game that never really had any PT. But then again, you know, we really had nothing else going for ourselves. So, yeah.
Dude, it's going to come down to that Patriots game. Just watch. It's going to be that Patriots game that prevents you guys from somehow getting that number 1 draft pick, and it's all just going to come full circle, man. How crazy would that be? But let's go ahead and let's get into these.
Do me that favor. Do me that favor.
Yeah. And there you go. You know what? Patriots might have lost that game, but in some ways they kind of won at the same time. But we'll see how the season ends. We'll see how the season ends. But getting into these Week 14 games, but before we do that, of course, really have to give a big shout out to our good friends over at Sleeper. Use promo code RTS that you see on the screen. Again, that is RTS, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Remember that supporting the sponsors, that supports the channel, supports everybody here at the AFC West Roundtable and everybody at Roundtable Sports. Link in the description box below. Have a little bit of extra fun this football season, especially if you're a Raiders fan or a Chiefs fan. Not getting a whole lot of love elsewhere. Might as well make some extra money. Do it with Sleeper. Link in the description box below. But let's go ahead, guys. Let's transition on into Week 14, and let's get into the big in-division matchup of the week. Denver Broncos come out victorious, 24-17. As Ryan said earlier, arguably the best, just well-rounded game that we've seen from the Denver Broncos in all three phases: offense, defense, special teams. Never really felt like the Raiders were ever really in this game. But Ryan, let's kick it off to you first. What were your thoughts on this one?
First game this season that I could relax and watch. Like, now, at one point was I stressed. It was so great. Bo Nix, each week he's starting to look better and better, look more comfortable. His footwork looks great. He's accurate. He had I think he was his completion percentage was 81%. He was 31 for 38. We didn't have a lot of deep shots, but he also mentioned during or after the game that he was playing to what the defense gave him. The Raiders trying to prevent a lot of deep shots. Sean also mentioned, I think before the game, that his Raiders game plan from the first game was not good. Obviously, they only put up 10 points and won by 3 points. So he adjusted all of that. RJ Harvey had kind of a breakout game, over 100 yards from scrimmage, 17 carries for 75 yards. And then the rest from receiving as well. So he was great. Defense, very solid as well. Like I said, except at the end. But, I mean, the Raiders, they tacked on 10 points within the final 2 minutes. So I'll give the defense a good amount of credit. It should have been 24-7 to end the game, but it wasn't. But also there's some sketchy shit going on with that field goal at the end. Like, why just let the clock run out?
Hey, who's trying to come back, man?
Dude, no, they're trying to mess up the cover or the spread, man. So a little bit of weird shit going on there. Pete Carroll, you're washed. Get him out. Get him out. And then who else did I want to discuss? Oh, Marvin Mims, punt return, special teams looking great. Added that touchdown early. It was overall just a great game, solid play call. It was very vanilla. Oh, and then the one thing I saw as well, I noticed that made just the cherry on top, barely any screens at all. There were checkdowns, but it wasn't the screen game. And what does that tell me? Bo is trusting the offense more, knowing where his check down is, getting rid of the ball, as opposed to just trying to get those short yards through screens all the time, because he's trying to process the plays, misses the check down. He's starting to get a lot more comfortable. He looks a lot better, and he's doing it at the perfect time when these games matter the most, and we're trying to get this 1 seed.
I think, oh, damn it, Marcus, you're taking my job, man. Y'all out of the playoffs already, and you're already that's crazy. That's crazy. We'll put you out one for a minute. We'll put you, we gotta let the guys.
It feels good up here.
Let the basement know what it feels like.
There we go.
Over here, dog.
Damn. James thought it was the first half of the season here for a second. No, we're at the end of the season, buddy. We're at the end of the season, but Ryan broke it down beautifully. Let's go ahead and go down to Samoan. The other half of this, Samoan, what were your thoughts on this game? And did you ever feel like, as a Raiders fan, you had a chance?
I think I did have a chance. We had a chance up until Mims wanted to return it for a touchdown. But I know Ryan said this the first game he got to relax and watch, and this was actually the first game I got to relax and watch too in the stadium, because I wasn't even mad at that. At this point, like if this was like 5 weeks ago, I would have been more pissed off. But looking at how this team has been playing all season and looking at where we stand, I'm just like, hey, I just want to see something good out there, but it's been the same product. Same old Raiders, different week, especially against an AFC West rival and the Broncos. It's funny because going into this game, I didn't even care if we won or lost. I just wanted to be competitive. Of course, there was a lot a lot of Bronco fans in the stadium as well. So that didn't help out as well. But, the Raiders just seem to not have any identity. I mean, throughout the whole season. And even with Pete Carroll, like he's a guy that I really love coming over here and just with his history and everything. And I maybe it's just when you put on that Raider logo, the silver and black, like everything just goes downhill. Geno Smith as well struggled in this game. And the offensive line played better than they have all season. Not saying that they were perfect, but we got to see some of our young guys out there, Caleb Rogers, who finally Pete Carroll put out there and had a pretty solid day. But Geno still struggled. And when he got hurt, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of sad and crazy because there was a lot of Raider fans like cheering in the stadium. I'm like, damn. When Kenny Pickett was going in, I was like, oh shit. We got the Super Bowl quarterback coming in, and he looked pretty good. He went in there, threw a nice touchdown pass. We drove down the field, got that field goal at the end, which I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I didn't even know we scored a field goal because I think it was like a minute or 2 minutes left. I was on my way out, getting ready to head to the studio, but I guess when I got to my car, I thought we lost 24-14, and it was like 24-17. I was like, oh shit. And then I didn't even know the whole thing with the spread or whatnot, the over under. And I guess that was a lot of things that people were talking about. But I guess Pete Carroll said that, hey, we would have had a chance. We get the onside kick. We might have a second left. And I'm like, hey, maybe. But overall, the Broncos continue to look like the Broncos. Their defense was pretty solid. Got to Geno Smith 3 times. The run game killed us, especially R.J. Harvey looked good out there, looked better than our first-round pick. And, at the end of the day, the Raiders right now are sitting at number 2 in the mock drafts. So, hey, we're in a prime position to get a quarterback for the future. But I know this year might be over and out. But next year, man, we might be up there where Ryan's at right now. So we'll have to wait till next year, though. But it is what it is. It was a good time at the stadium, like always. I got to relax, watch the game, eat some good food,
Was
and
it
just
in the visitor section? Was it nice?
No, I was at the home side.
There was no home side.
I mean,
there was no home side.
Well, hey, we like to be inviting to other people that come to the stadium. Just
that's the Raider way.
I don't blame fans for not coming because I mean we suck.
It's not because they didn't come. It's because they're all in Oakland.
Man, they can stay in Oakland. The real fans over here in Vegas. No, sure. Until the Raiders start winning, we'll see a lot more people. And it's funny because Pete Carroll, like I think he kind of like called out the fans. It's like, hey, we need that energy from the fans. We need fans to show up. It helps us on the field. It's like, what are you talking about? There's been many games that we've showed up and the team just looks the same. So at this point, I think there's a lot of fans that just want the Raiders to lose or wouldn't even be mad if we lost moving forward.
Simone, it feels like maybe in a lot of ways you guys lost this week. Not only did you lose the game, but you got Shedeur Sanders going out there and being named the starter for the rest of the season because he's absolutely balling out. It's like, damn.
I try to tell people, but they didn't want to listen.
Several rounds, you guys
tell Brady that.
Brady need to put on the pads now. Seeing Phillip Rivers coming back, I'm like, hey, you might as well just come and strap up and just play for us, dog.
Now he's going to join the Patriots practice squad. Just wait. Just wait, man. But let's go on over to James. James, what are your thoughts on this game?
The same thought. Sorry, man. My voice is absolutely still harsh from the game last night. But, to your point, Simone, Kenny Pickett, what if he is that guy that just starts winning games for you guys? Like, Geno Smith has been that dude that just has been throwing picks every single game, putting the ball at risk every single game, and just making it hard on the Raiders to try to find a way to win a game. And what if it's Kenny Pickett? Now, I remember Kenny Pickett came into a game earlier this year, first snap, fumbled the ball, and I think everybody was like, all right, dude, he ain't that dude. But like, he looked pretty good late in the game. Now, game could have been over with by that time and everything too, but what if Kenny Pickett's that guy and then you end up getting, the next 4 weeks you find a way to win, and guess what? Now you're gonna have a back end top 10 pick at that point. So that I could totally see something like that happening. That totally makes sense. As for the Broncos, it was expected to beat up the Raiders. I mean, everybody's beating up the Raiders at this point. It's just an easy dub for everybody right now. It's just kind of fun to watch. Yeah, well, except for the Patriots. Sorry. Week one. But for a minute there, it was a close game. It's the same thing with the Chargers playing the Raiders last week, 7-7 at halftime, and then basically the Chargers took it over at that point. But bottom line for the Broncos, this was their last easy game of the season. Next 4 weeks is really the challenge for them at this point. I mean, there is a gauntlet that they're going to be going through for the next 4 weeks. So It's going to be interesting for the Broncos, seeing if they could hold on that high seed and potentially that division. Chargers are creeping up, man. Creeping up. We'll see what happens in the last 4 weeks here. But I will also say about Bo Nix, he did have 8 passes completed behind the line of scrimmage. He was basically checking down quite a bit throughout this game. His longest completed pass was 13 in air yards. So basically 13 yards to the receiver and a reception at that point. He did not throw anything further past that point and complete anything beyond that air yards for a completion. So, and that's kind of really what Bo Nix has been for most of the season, at least in the early season. It seemed like they kept wanting to deep shots, not converting. Now they're keeping it to a very minimal short type throw offense for Bo Nix. So either which way, he's got a great offensive line. Obviously, he could get a run game behind it. Any quarterback that has a very, very good offensive line could basically make completions all day. But good win for the Broncos. Next 4 weeks is going to really tell a lot about this team.
Certainly is going to tell us a lot about the Denver Broncos, who not only are the Chargers kind of creaking up there on the Denver Broncos, but also Denver's number 1 in terms of seeding in the AFC. But Patriots are the same record as them, and so they're kind of creaking up back there on their heels too. If the Patriots win out, but the Broncos lose 1 game, well, then the Patriots have the number 1 seed. And so there's a lot still on the line for Denver. They certainly cannot take their foot off the gas just yet. Still a lot to play for. But Marcus, let's go down to you. Wrap us up with this game. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just if you look at the because I watched this game with my brother, who's a Raiders fan, and he was just depressed the entire time. But the 3 scoring drives the Broncos had that it took 47 plays. Those just 3 scoring drives because they had the punt return for a touchdown. The 3 scoring drives were 47 plays. The Raiders as a whole had 48 plays on Sunday, which is just so wild to me. And they just literally killed the clock on all their drives. The second half, their 2 scoring drives took a total of 20 minutes of a 30-minute half. I mean, it's just like debilitating, man. Just to watch your teams get slice and dice you. I know, James just said that, Bo Nix threw a lot of passes behind the line, but they didn't really need to do much in this game. I mean, they just killed and burned the clock the entire time. Yeah, I mean, I will say from the Raiders' point of view, obviously Broncos, they got a dub, and that's really all that matters. Raiders' point of view, the Pickett aspect, I mean, yeah, I don't know if they're going to roll with him for the rest of the season, but Jack Betch was a guy that you guys drafted pretty early and really haven't seen much of him, and you got to see a decent action this past weekend, so you're slowly implementing him a little bit more in the offense, and I think you might have something here with Jack Betch. So, yeah, I mean, that's one positive to look at here. Again, still not seeing enough from Genty, but, again, your offensive line can only do so much for the run game. But, yeah, for a little while there, I mean, that you got to take something positive out of that drive. I mean, Broncos scored their first drive, and you guys, kind of put together a pretty solid opening drive, good game script to start the season, or start the game out, and then just kind of went downhill from there. But, yeah, I don't think the score was as close as it should have been. I mean, I think the Broncos, they probably could have done a lot more damage than they did. I mean, the fact they were just going 15-play, 19-play drives and just kind of sustaining the ball and not letting you guys really get the ball back or to really do anything at all with it. Yeah, I mean, Brian, you got to feel good. I mean, you got took care of business against a bad team. So.
Certainly took care of business against a bad team. Hey, Ryan, that's step 1, right? I feel like a lot of people will get on the Broncos. Oh, you beat the Raiders. What does that mean? Hey, you're taking care of business, baby. That's step 1 of being a good team. So don't undermine beating the Raiders.
We've been taking care of business for a while. It's just how it's kind of looked.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that, James, you may want to critique it, but, that we could get a solid win, not having to pull out all those big plays and just kill the clock and just show absolute control of the game. Bo Nix wasn't throwing it deep because he didn't, like Marcus said, he didn't need to. He's taking what the defense gave him, and that's what good QBs do. That's what Brady did. That's what Manning did. That's what every good QB in history has done. That sustains the wins. But I know you Chargers fans love to see all those crazy throws by Herbert, big throws, and then at the end of the day, you lose in the playoffs, and does it all really matter? So...
I mean, it's pretty nuts, though. Their first drive was 14 plays, 81 yards. Your next 2 scoring drives are 14 plays, 91, and 10 plays, 98 yards. I mean, that's – and these are all, deep in your own territory. You have to drive and kill clock while taking it downfield. I mean, that's just – I mean, it's pretty impressive to say. I mean, the fact you had 2 possessions in the second half that took 20 minutes. I mean, that's unheard of. That's nuts.
It's the run game actually finally being there. And like, that's the biggest thing from this weekend is
run
that
game
now
is killer.
RJ Harvey is starting to develop. He's not bouncing this shit out every single time because J.K. Dobbins is out unless we make the Super Bowl. And so having the runner and Jaleel McLaughlin looked good as well for being inactive for most of the season. He had some good bursts as well. So just developing that run game. Everyone finally starts to seem like they know what they're doing. The running backs know what they're doing. The offensive linemen are executing on their blocking schemes and everything. And then Bo Nix knows where to go with the ball and play it safe when he needs to.
And that is what we call continuity. But guys, let us know your thoughts about this game. Let's go ahead and transition over into the next one. Talked about this one a little bit earlier, James, and I want to get your deeper thoughts on this one from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Obviously, big storyline for this one, the drops by A.J. Brown, the several turnovers there by Jalen Hurts. Defense really stepped up big time for the Chargers in this one. How are you guys able to come away with this win in overtime?
As everybody watched this game, you know, it was just one of those absolutely ugly looking games from the get-go for both sides of the teams. The amount of turnovers in this game was insane, even to that one pick by a big boy at that point, Deshaun Hand, and then fumbling that, Jalen Hurts getting it, fumbling that. I mean, it was just an absolute show there for the amount of fumbles in this one. But bottom line, man, this is one of those games that those Chargers fans has seen many times that we find a way to lose. And ultimately, we found a way to win this one. And it was really amazing to be at the stadium for this one in a lot of different ways. I mean, all the fans were on the edge of their seat pretty much the entire game. Who's going to find a way to take this W? There's a lot of things that I can even point out to and big play mistakes and everything too. But bottom line, I'm going to say tough, gritty, ugly win. And all that matters, all the stats don't make any difference. The W's matter the most at this point. So big play mistakes for this game was for the Eagles, you know, late in the second quarter when the Eagles, got the ball into the touchdown. A.J. Brown got a touchdown, ended up having a PI or a holding call on them, ended up pulling that back and just getting a field goal at that point. That's huge in the total perspective of this game. This was one of those games where you just had to take whatever points you possibly can, and not a lot of touchdowns are going to get scored in this game. Missed field goal late in the second was massive. 4 interceptions by Hurts is awful. You can't expect to win a game when you basically gun up the ball and putting it at risk at that point. I mean, it was just ugly for him. It's crazy. All the Eagles fans after this game too. I mean, they were just saying, fire everybody, get rid of everybody. Just Jalen Hurts is trash. Like it's unbelievable to me to see a fan base that's that way. Like, to me, I look at the Eagles fans very much as like ungrateful fans. You just won a Super Bowl last year, by the way. You are still the Super Bowl champions last year. You're still to this day, still the Super Bowl champions. It's crazy to see what they're doing here. But anyways, I digress. I'll get away from that. But bottom line, Herbert, I mean, he's getting destroyed out there. This offensive line is absolutely terrible. He got hit about 17 times in this game, including the 6 sacks. He had 35 pressures. The guy was running for his life with one hand. I mean, this guy is exactly that gritty, tough identity that this team wants to have. He is showing it on field. Even after the game, when ESPN was trying to interview him, he was walking away from the girl that was trying to interview him saying, no, I just want to go celebrate with my team. I'm done. I'm good. Like, I don't want to talk to you kind of thing. This guy's an absolute leader and is great to see. He also had the game tying late fourth quarter drive to force OT, and then another drive in OT to ultimately win the game with one hand. Like, this dude cannot do anything with that left hand by any means. It's amazing basically to see what Justin Herbert's doing and being that guy. In my mind, I keep thinking this team is a very blue collar based team, just grinding away, just going after, chipping at the block, finding your way to get that dub. Now, fast forward to the OT side of things. The neutral zone infraction by Odafe Owe at 4th and 3. All right, I've seen this a million times as Chargers fans. You got a chance to basically end the game, and then you do something stupid. Like, if people in the chat want to say this is the charging, yes, that could probably say is the charging. When you could basically end the game, you decide to do something stupid, and you'll probably lose the game at that point. I was in the stadium, and I literally was just like, yep, that's it. That's the play. I've seen this tens of thousands of times. And I was done. I wasn't even really paying attention to the game. I was kind of just sitting there talking, just talking to some fans, whatever, not even paying attention. I heard the screaming in there in the stadium. I was like, oh, they got a touchdown. It's game over. No, it was a pick. I literally just did not understand what was happening. It took me a solid hour to figure out what was exactly happening here, because that made no sense, because I have not seen that as a Chargers fan in a very, very long period of time. And so that was great to see. And I'll even just throw it out there once again. Justin Herbert's 5-0 in primetime games this year. He is stepping up when it matters most, and he's stepping up with one hand. I'm still going to say this guy is a tough, gritty football player that puts the team on his back and makes plays when necessary. I mean, you could watch the last drive in the fourth quarter and the first drive and the only drive that we had in overtime, where he willed his team to get into a position to win. Massive shout out to the defense for this one and stepping up. And honestly, you know, it boils down to that one play with Tony Jefferson, or AKA we call him Unk, and that beautiful tip pass, basically to just go right into Tony Jefferson's hands to end the game. I mean, incredible game, and an absolutely gutty performance by the Chargers on an ugly game. And bottom line, getting a dub matters most.
Getting a dub matters most. James put it best himself. Marcus, let's go down to you. What were your thoughts when watching this game last night?
A gritty game. That was probably, I have to agree, probably one of the better games of the weekend. The only thing I would say is sustainability. I mean, can Herbert do this every week? I mean, the guy's taking, and I get you got offensive line injuries. I totally understand that. Yep. 7 sacks. I mean, he had dudes in his face all game long. I mean, he was running the ball all night with 10 carries for 60 yards.
Yep.
Like, I mean, can he do that every week? And like, it's your franchise quarterback. You don't want him to be out there having to take those hits all game long. I did like, I mean, I said last week, I like that you guys had this potential 1-2 punch, even better than what the Hampton and Najee 1-2 punch was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Vidal is such a beast, man. He's really freaking good. I love that you still involved him. You kind of this 1A, 1B approach. Hampton was more involved than I thought he would be in his first game back, but they both looked phenomenal. And honestly, I think you have a 1-2 punch for some years to come. I don't know what Vidal's contract looks like, but those two dudes, they can pack a punch, and they both look great last night because they both can catch the ball out of the backfield as well as run between the tackles. Vidal more than proved himself when Hampton was out, but now you have both of them. That adds another component to your offense, and with the offensive line in shambles like it is, those two dudes are going to be huge for you guys down the stretch here, especially because you guys have a really tough schedule coming up too, so that's going to be huge. I love Cam Hart. I loved him coming out of Notre Dame. So to see him step up like he has stepped up for you guys, I mean, what an unreal draft pick that was. He was a 5th round pick, 6th round pick.
5th round pick. So yeah, the same draft as we got Tarheeb Still also, who's the opposite starting corner with the team too.
Unreal,
crazy.
So I love what I saw from Vidal, Hampton, some of the guys in the secondary. Your defense is great. I mean, for the fact that, I mean, the one thing I will say is, Eagles gave you the ball, 4 interceptions and a fumble, and the game was still that close. I mean, it just speaks. I mean, it speaks to. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see a team like this with your offensive line, the situation that you have there. I just don't see you guys. I think the Eagles are on a complete downfall, falling off a cliff right now. I just don't see how you guys can kind of go toe-to-toe and have a kickoff with other teams. Cameron Dicker, I might say team MVP this year because that guy saved me in multiple fantasy leagues, and that guy's saving your offense here because once you get across the 50, man, Dicker's unreal. Would you say Nate Kading or Cam Dicker? Who'd you really have?
Cam Dicker all day, man. Come on now.
I don't know. I remember Kading being
he was good too. But he blew it a lot in the playoffs. That was the big part of it with Kading, though. Oh, that was terrible.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta love seeing your quarterback do what he did, putting the team on his back, even with one hand. I just don't think it's sustainable. And God forbid you don't want something else to happen to him. Maybe throw the ball away more. But hey, he's doing what he has to do to win. He had to put the cape on because he's got to do it with the offensive line the way it is. But hey, a big win.
All valid points there, Marcus, man. And yes, it is. Can this be sustained? And I think really ultimately, to your point, can that running game just control the game and the defense do their job? I think ultimately that's what the Chargers need to do. This is going to be a lot of Justin Herbert type games where maybe you're going to throw 150 yards, 170 type yards. You're not going to have those flashy plays too much. It's going to be get that run game going and let the defense cook pretty much. So I agree.
Well, let's go on over to Samoan. Samoan, were you as impressed as everybody else with this Chargers win?
Oh yeah, I was actually surprised because I thought the Eagles were going to win this one. But looking at the game, watching it, and seeing how well the defenses played, I mean, it was a defensive battle for both teams. Offense looked sloppy on both sides, especially for Jalen Hurts, who had 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, even having 2 turnovers in one play. I thought that was kind of crazy. That was one of the main reasons why I came back and won my matchup this week in fantasy. And then, of course, Vidal going off and at least helping me seal the victory. But yeah, overall, I think just seeing the Chargers just overcome a battle like this. I mean, both sides they had their turnovers, but they also had some solid plays. AJ Brown had a solid day as well as Saquon as well, but AJ Brown had some key drops that could have turned this game around as well. It was good to see Amari and Hampton come back and get into the end zone. But I do believe that this is a big win for the Chargers, especially because I know the Broncos are slowly running away with the lead. But it's a big win for the Charger, and it also pushes the Chiefs down a little bit more. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they look moving forward. But as long as they continue to win games, that's all that matters. So I think it was a huge win. I didn't expect it, but Eagle fans showed up pretty deep. I think I've seen a lot of vlogs over there. But yeah, solid win for the Chargers.
A solid win for the Chargers. I'm looking at it right now. You guys have a 76% chance at making the postseason right now. So odds are pretty good, but obviously still that potential to ultimately miss out. So you can't take your foot off the gas. It'll be really interesting to see where the Chargers go to, because in the past, when they've reached the postseason and they've had to go somewhere cold, they've struggled a little bit. And so if you do have to go somewhere cold in the postseason, is that something that this team can overcome? Lot to still be seen here from these Chargers. Ryan, let's go on up to wrap us up with this game. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll be quick about it. Kind of what Marcus said, just, very gritty win. And also James, like you mentioned, I shit on Herbert a lot, but obviously he's a good quarterback. I just shit on him because of his lack of playoff success. Just so much grit from him. I was watching the game and you could see him just trying to stay off that hand, whether he was falling down, which hopefully, he's got to be careful with that, because compensating like that, I was even hearing some of the commentators saying then maybe you develop a shoulder injury because you're planting too much on your shoulder when you fall, because you can't use your hand. So he's got to be careful with that, because that's what happened with Daniel Jones. He was trying to stay off that fractured leg. He was relying too much on his other leg, which put too much stress on his Achilles, and that popped, and there you go. Yep. He's done for the season. But yeah, I was really hoping the Eagles were going to win, man. They're really disappointing. Jalen Hurts just completely disappointing with all those turnovers. Oh my gosh. And I still held out hope for them, but the Chargers, they pulled it out, and they're starting to become a lot more scary than they were a few weeks ago, when obviously their O-line isn't great and they're banged up, but they're pulling out these wins. The defense is really good, and they're still right there behind us, and we've got the Broncos have the 3rd hardest schedule to finish out the season, playing the Packers this week, and we still got to play the Chiefs and Chargers again. So there's a lot of room for them to take this number 1 seed, and the Broncos just have to handle business to claim that.
Wouldn't that be ridiculous if that came just how the season started? Right? Yeah, and just to the end. But isn't it like a perfect script for the NFL? We basically play you guys to end the season. Isn't that just perfect script for the
They're
NFL?
lucky. They're lucky because they've had us play the Chiefs in the final game of the season before. Yep. I guess they just wrote it up perfectly, where the Chiefs the Chiefs game isn't going to mean shit for the Chiefs this year.
That's right.
It's rigged. NFL's rigged.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
I've been hearing that for the last 8 years.
It is, Marcus.
A lot of football to still be played. We might be at the end of the season, and so for some of these teams, no direct hit at you, Samoan, but for some of these teams, it might be the end. It might not really matter how these final games finish, but for teams like the Chargers, for teams like the Broncos, there is still a lot on the line. But let's go ahead and let's get into the next game here, the final game before we get into these guys' Week 15 previews. Let's talk about it. The Kansas City Chiefs falling to the Houston Texans 17-10, a close game, but this is now back-to-back weeks that the Houston Texans have taken down some of the most high fire-powered offenses in the NFL. Last week doing it against Buffalo, and then this week doing it against the Chiefs. Marcus, you knew what was on the line here. Ultimately, your squad couldn't come out with the win. What happened in this one?
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was going to be a tall task. Not having our right tackle, not having our right guard, and not having our left tackle in this game. And the first play, second play, our guy who was starting at left tackle ends up tearing his knee. And so we have to go with a guy who's making his debut, Issa Pole, who actually looked great during the preseason with us. We ended up cutting him, goes to the Jets, and then Jets end up cutting him. He comes back to us, and that was like one of those like training camp guys that, all the fan base is like, why are you releasing him? He looked great in the third quarter and fourth quarter of preseason games. And then we came back, and he looked great. Only allowed 3 pressures on 42 passing snaps against Danielle Hunter. I mean, that's pretty impressive for a guy who's an undrafted dude out of Washington State. So I think we found something there. That was one of the few bright spots of this matchup was Issa Pole's performance against Danielle Hunter. But yeah, this game was an ugly game, really ugly. Offensively, couldn't get anything going at all. And I'll have to say, the game kind of woke up for us a little bit in the second half where, we were waiting on Mahomes to do something. We're waiting on Kelsey to do something and wake up. But no, number 95, Chris Jones is the one who wakes up in the second half of the game. And defense came out there and did their thing in the second half. 3 and out with the third quarter with 4 3-and-outs against the Texans offense, who in the first quarter of that game was dominating us. I mean, Trey McDuffie got hurt. No Williams, rookie out of Cal, ended up coming in and actually playing really well. So that was another silver lining of this game. But defense did their thing in the third quarter. Now, fourth quarter, they have a 6-play punt. And, so a 6-play punt. And then on the next drive, 4th and 1 at our 31-yard line, Andy Reid decides to go for it. Now, in Andy Reid's full coaching history, he's never gone for it on 4th down at his own 30-yard line. He's never done that before. And he decided to do that on Sunday night. And a horrible play call where you don't have Kareem Hunt in the backfield. You have Hollywood Brown in the backfield. You have Kareem Hunt at wing back right next to your left tackle. And then nothing. Turn over the ball. Puts the defense in a horrible situation. Defense has been cooking all second half. Texans end up scoring 6 plays, 30 yards for a touchdown there. And a lot of people said, oh, man, defense let us down. No, Andy Reid let us down there. It was just a horrible play call. Andy Reid said after the game he probably would have rethought that. He went with the gut. He went with his gut there. And actually, this makes me just question the whole analytics bullshit. But apparently, analytics actually said to go for it there. It was actually a positive play to go for, which makes me question analytics at all because they're not taking into account how many offensive linemen you're down. You're not taking into account on the kind of play you're running there. I mean, the whole thing was just a disaster. And I think that's the reason why we ended up losing that game was that touchdown on going forward there. Then on our next drive, we end up going for a 4th and 4. Rashee Rice actually drops the ball there. And that one, actually, the defense actually stepped up there after that play because if they kick a field goal there, they take a 2-possession lead. Defense actually gets them out of field goal range. They punt it to us. One last chance. No, Travis Kelsey drops a ball, which is kind of behind him, but Kelsey should have had it. Ball gets kind of tipped up in the air off his drop and interception. Game over at that point. They kick a field goal, and that's it. But, I mean, again, there's so many things to point to here. I know people want to say Andy Reid's play calling is the reason why we lost. I mean, play calling was a part of it. Offensive line was a part of it. And I will say, while having 3 reserves, they still actually did all right, considering who we were going against. It wasn't like we were going against some bum defensive line. We're going back against arguably the best defensive line in football. And those guys did well. We got a dude who was making his debut, an undrafted dude making his debut at left tackle. And he wasn't supposed to play in that game, but he started pretty much the entire game. So yeah, I gotta say, I did like to see the defensive line finally wake up a little bit. Karlaftis finally had a sack in the first time in a few weeks. So it was nice to see defensive line wake up, and I'm hoping that can carry over into next week and the remaining weeks here. But I think as a Chief fan, knowing that the season's probably over, now I'm trying to think of future chess moves. We saw Noah Williams, rookie, step in at cornerback. I think it might be time as Trent McDuffie's contract comes up. You don't pay him, you trade him and get as many assets you can for him, and begin again and find the next guy up. So it was a tough loss. Obviously, wanted that game. I thought we were going to win that game, but Chiefs lose and season's on the brink. So
Season is certainly on the brink. Let's go on over to you, Simone. What are your thoughts on kind of the downfall here of the Chiefs and kind of looking at them from the outside looking in with their postseason chances?
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're at this point right now, and it's kind of crazy to think that they're on the downfall right now, and small chance to get into the playoffs because for many years they've been running this division, heck, the whole NFL. But I would have never thought that after 14 weeks the Chiefs would be 6-7, but they are. I had to put that in there, but I think it was a solid defense. It was
we all thought the same thing, man.
I was waiting. I thought Marcus was gonna bring it. I was like, I had to hit it one time, but I think that was the main thing I took away from the game.
I saw you hit it earlier.
I know. I was like, I had to. Dog. I was like, I'm saving it for this part, but yeah, I mean, overall, like a strong defense showing for the Texans. I think they've been on a run. I don't know if it's a 5-win win streak for them, but man, just seeing how well their defense is this year, they're one of the better defenses, especially against the Chiefs team, and making Patrick Mahomes look the way he did in this game, having 3 interceptions and then also 2 sacks on top of that. It was a solid, real solid game for the Texans. As far as the Chiefs, it just seemed like a lot of things weren't going their way. Of course, the injuries to their left tackle, McDuffie, and just a lot of missed opportunities. Travis Kelce dropping that that interception off of Travis Kelce's hand. This year might not be their year, and I've seen a lot of like Chiefs fans saying that it's time to fire Andy Reid, and I'm sitting here like, damn, man, one bad season and it's time to fire. I mean, we're just sitting here like, damn, we just wish we had a season like that, but it is what it is. But overall, these next couple of weeks is going to be really important for the Chiefs, and I love the fact that Marcus is keeping that hope alive, man, because it ain't over. But until it's over, then we can celebrate. But this is how it feels when the referees aren't on your side, and just things aren't going your way. I'm just joking. I just have to throw that in there too. But yeah, solid game by CJ Stroud as well, 200 yards, touchdown. But I think things are I guess troubling in the future for the Chiefs as far as this season, unless they turn around and win the rest of the season. But we'll have to wait and see.
Well, let's go on up to you, Ryan. Ryan, I know you just absolutely love what you're seeing with the downfall of Kansas City, but, unbiasedly speaking, where do you think that they go moving forward?
Moving forward, I think they missed the playoffs. They got to face us again. Granted, it's in Kansas City, but I don't know. It just seems kind of like the team's checked out to an extent, and they just kind of accepted that. And honestly, it's like their best option is to lose out in a way, not for, I guess, for the draft pick to retool. Like maybe Kelsey's gone after this year, just get that better draft position, maybe trade it out the first round. I mean, they probably wouldn't, but you can gather more picks to just retool with some younger talent. And I mean, like look at Brady and the Patriots. Like what was it? They had a decade in between their 3rd and 4th ring or something like that. So I'm not saying like the Chiefs dynasty is over. I mean, it's a little bit different considering Andy Reid is much older now. So I think he'll still continue to coach. I think Travis Kelce retires. I think he should have retired last year. His ego just got into it because he wanted to propose to Taylor after a Super Bowl win, and then he was going to retire, and he had this big fantasy, and then he came back this year because of unfinished business. Blah 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 blah. I mean, he's still in statistics doing well, but I mean, the eye test, he's taken a big step back. And I think the main thing that is keeping his stats up there is his connection with Mahomes. I think you put him on like any other team, and he's not going to have that type of output just because, they just him and Mahomes have some type of like telepathical connection where, they just know when to go to each other, or where Travis is going to run. Travis knows where to go open. But I just want to get in there. Shout out to Petrie because I absolutely despise Rashee Rice. I think he should have been suspended. And Rashee Rice, as someone said on X, Rashee Rice finally understands what it feels like to get unexpectedly hit at a high rate of speed and the man responsible leave the scene. That was so satisfying to watch. Piece of shit family, Rashee Rice. There's that door cam footage of his mom stealing packages off a porch. Screw Rashee Rice and his whole family. You're getting what you deserve, dog.
He did get suspended, by the way.
He did get suspended, but he should have. I'm saying he should be suspended longer. He should be banned for a whole season.
I think if he didn't tear his ACL or tear his knee last year and missed the entire season, I think he probably would have gotten more. But because he did that, and then also they gave him the 6 games this year, so.
But if they did it, he probably. But like if he didn't tear his ACL last year, I mean, they should have hopped on that way before to suspend him. Not wait till he gets back. They should have tacked it on. Like, why does a injury reduce your sentence? It should have nothing to do. Those are 2 separate occasions.
Certainly a good point. Certainly a good point. I mean, Ryan does not like Rashee Rice. So in case you see a Rashee Rice burner account,
I would have been fine. I would have been fine with Petrie going full Myles Garrett, taking off his helmet and bashing him unconscious, black and blue. But he didn't do that.
Jesus.
Wow. Really don't like Rashee Rice. All right. Well, let's go on.
Hey, if you saw the video of him just walking off with his buddies, with all of his goons, you wouldn't like him either after like that whole crash. He just ran off, not taking response. I just hate these rich players that think that they're above the law and above everything else, and then they can just like get away with all these, and they just act stupid when there's all these other people in the world that would love to have the money and all these things, and he's over here acting like an idiot and then continues to play in the NFL. That's the issue.
I agree. He's out the first and he ain't the last. So
yeah, certainly fair. I mean, yeah, Henry Ruggs, what was that? Jordan Addison, man. I feel like the list just goes on.
Henry Ruggs is in jail. Henry Ruggs is in jail. Rashee Rice is out here on the field.
I didn't mean to dig deep on that one there, Simone. I almost forgot he was a Raider for a second. But James, let's go over to you. Wrap us up with this game. What were your thoughts?
I'm going to keep it pretty short on this one, but I wasn't watching this game at my house or anything. I was out and about in LA and everything too. I was in a great Italian restaurant out in Marina del Rey, enjoying some great pasta and everything too, but streaming the game on my phone and actually, I'll say this, that Italian restaurant had some weird music going on there. You'd think you'd throw some Italian style music or anything like that. It was really weird, but it was a great view of the bay. We were enjoying all the great views, sunset, all that. It was an amazing, amazing place. But as I was watching the Chiefs game late in the 4th quarter with the 2nd straight Kelsey drop that basically became an interception, no joke, the restaurant turned on right then and there, hit the road jack by Ray Charles. I was like, is this really happening right now? Because it was like perfectly timed to when I was watching the broadcast, and it is synonymous to basically what's happening with the Chiefs fans right now. And the Chiefs are pretty much hitting the road, potentially going to go meet up with Marcus out in Cancun here very shortly. So get it ready for them. Give them some ideas of where to go for their vacation. Season might be over with, man. But it was crazy to see what happened with the Chiefs. You know, last week I talked about it. Drops are an issue with this team. And they once again had and I think I saw about 7 different drops in this game. 9. Okay. Even worse now. It's crazy to see. And I think I saw Kelsey was one of the 5th or 6th wide receiver in the league with the most drops this year thus far too. So whatever's happening there, that safety net with having Mahomes and Kelsey might not be there anymore. I've always said that when you get a player at 35, their strength in their hands start going away. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening with Kelsey at this point. So he's been in the game, around the game for such a long period of time. He's got a great retirement plan with Taylor Swift. He's good to go. And I mean, there's also that idea of a lot of distractions with Taylor Swift too. Are you going to come in the season locked in? And, you know, you have a lot of distractions. He's acting now too. He's hanging around worldwide with Taylor Swift on her tour, all these random things. So it's just not a well-oiled machine, bottom line, with the Chiefs this year. And, you know, I'll give it one thing too, man. It's tough to basically be these teams where you could have a full decade of basically being the top team. And it's not to say you won't have a reset or, you know, restart or whatever it might be. Who knows what happens, but this season's not it for you guys by any means at all. So crazy to see, but you know, tough loss, and on to the next for you guys.
Well, the Chiefs have officially taken a step back, and this is where we kick it off too, guys. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and let's get into our final friends here before we get into these Week 15 previews. That's our good friends over at RotoWire. You guys know them. You love them. We talked about them early on in the beginning of the season, how you can dominate your fantasy leagues. This time, we are talking about how to make sure that you are winning money and not losing money, because they're going to tell you the players that you should take the over on and the under on every single week to make sure that you are dominating your parlays, your player props, and everything in between. For example, this week, they're telling you to take the over on Bijan Robinson rushing yards of 70.5. They're also saying to take the over on Jared Goff passing yards of 241.5. but they want you to take the under on Josh Allen rushing yards of 37.5 and the under on Cole Kmet receiving yards of 19.5. You can get in on this and so much more. Link in the description box below over at RotoWire. And because you're watching us here at Roundtable Sports, we are giving you a limited time exclusive offer of 15% off with promo code RTS. Again, that is promo code RTS. Link in the description box below. As always, play responsibly. Excuse me, guys. Let's go ahead and let's get into week 15. And of course, we have to start with one of the biggest games here of the week. It's the Denver Broncos. It's the Green Bay Packers. A true test here for Denver. What are they going to be as we inch closer and closer and closer to the postseason? I think this is going to be a good test for them. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this one?
It's going to be an interesting game just because the Packers have somewhat been inconsistent in some of their games. I mean, like they lost to the Panthers and they had a good game against the Bears, and the Bears have been solid as well. So very, very intriguing coming into this game overall, because I don't really know what type of Packers team am I going to get. But I will say, absolutely terrified of Josh Jacobs. The last time we played the Packers a couple years ago and we beat them, in just Jordan Love's first year starting, they didn't have Josh Jacobs. If anyone remembers, Josh Jacobs, when he was with the Raiders, every time we would play them, he looked like Walter Payton. He looked like prime Walter Payton every single time. And not to say he's not a great back, but he went from great back to greatest of all time for a game. And so I'm not very excited about having to face Josh Jacobs. But I do think this defense will be able to handle Jordan Love. He doesn't really do great under pressure. And I think Vance Joseph, if he puts together a solid game plan, will be able to get pressure on Jordan Love and just keep him kind of antsy in the pocket, and hopefully throwing a lot of those back foot throws, throw some interceptions. Of course, unless he targets Riley Moss, then there's going to be some DPIs thrown or some blown coverages, most likely, because that's just Riley Moss and he's a liability, but whatever. But offensively, I'm looking for this offense to continue to build off of what they did last week and the previous weeks. Control the game, control the run, control the game through the run. If we get some big plays, that's nice, but ultimately, like, have another Raiders type of game where we have full control of everything. We're doing what we want. We're running the ball. We're throwing where we want to. And then if the big play is there, go ahead and make it, Bo. But if not, who cares? And then special teams just needs to be solid and do their job. No mistakes. Low margin for error this week. These last couple of weeks, you spent the whole season. You got some of these close wins out of the way. You've luckily we're 11-2. And this team, it seems like they've still been kind of trying to get their footing going, and they're finally starting to. And luckily, we didn't have to endure some of these losses besides the Chargers and Colts game. So now it's time that they start putting this all together, what they learned, because the exam's coming up right now.
The exam is certainly coming up. And of course, Ryan, we did talk about earlier in today's episode just kind of some of the implications on why the Denver Broncos, and you really need to win out for a lot of different reasons. You want to win the AFC West. You want to win the AFC, get the number one seed. These are all things that you have to do. You hold your own fate. What can you do for the remainder of 2025? James, let's go on over to you. What are your thoughts and predictions on this one?
Yeah, this is going to be a big game, man. I mean, it's crazy to think about what the Packers did last week and ended up beating the Bears and going from, there was a short time that they were the number one seed and then pushing down the Bears to the 7th seed at this point. It's crazy to see what's happening within the NFC playoff picture. But Packers and also Broncos, offensively, defensively, there's only about a 1-point spread either which way you look at it, from the amount of points they scored to the amount of points they given up. This is going to be one of those games where you got to take your points. It's kind of going to be something similar in that sense of way the Chargers-Eagles games was, where it's like, make sure you just take your field goals. You just take whatever points you possibly can. Don't do anything too risky by any means. So this is going to be a tough game. Big challenge. Yes, I get it. They're a mile high for this game. You know, you've got obviously a advantage there with the elevation side of things too. But, you know, look, your cold weather team coming to a cold weather area, I think they're going to be able to do fine there too. I have a feeling that the Packers going to find a way to get this dub. Maybe that's just my hopes. But I think they got some very good momentum beating the Bears last week and coming into this one. So let's make it happen. Go Pack. Let's go.
James is going to take the Packers. Marcus, let's go down to you. Who are you going to take?
I'm really blindsided by the point spread of this game. how in the world are the Packers 2.5-point favorites at Denver? That just makes
Crazy.
no sense. That makes no sense to me
Yeah.
at all. Man, I honestly was going to take Denver. Then when I saw the spread of this game, because I feel like that the whole house is going to be on Denver at home. You're getting 2.5 points here. That's kind of wild to me. I do think that Denver has the advantages in many cases. I mean, when Jordan Love gets rattled, I mean, that's oof, man. So 65% of the money is on the Broncos to win, just straight up, and 55% of the money is on the Broncos to cover the spread. Just based on the Vegas numbers here, I'm going Packers in this one.
All right, Marcus is also going to go Packers. Simone, wrap us up with this one. Who are you taking?
Yeah, this is going to be a real big matchup for both teams. Of course, everybody stated how important it is for the Broncos, but playing a Green Bay team that defensively they match up pretty well, and offensively they got the weapons to keep up with the Broncos. But every time I count on the Broncos, like they've always found a way to win. I mean, they're on I think a 10-game streak, and especially playing at home, I think they're 6-0. So I mean, as a Raider fan, I would want the Packers to win, but just realistically, I feel like the Broncos might etch this one out. It might come down to the wire, but that I could see them winning this one at home.
At home. All right. So this is where we kick it off to you guys. What do you think about this game? Feels like the panel, little bit of mixed emotions. So we're going to come back next week and we're going to see who's right and, of course, who was wrong. Let's go ahead and let's transition on over into the next game because we have the Chargers, we have the Chiefs in a big in-division matchup. Chargers on a bit of a roll here. Chiefs, the opposite. They're on a bit of a cold streak, to put it there gently there for you, Marcus. James, let's start off with you. What are your predictions for this one?
I don't know what to predict in this one, to be honest. Like, this one is where the Chargers are at right now. Justin Herbert being down. I mean, defense is looking good. I think once we get the running game going, this team will have a little bit of identity of just chipping off the old block a little bit with just the run game and everything too. But I don't know what to predict with this game. Like, I have no idea where to go with this one at this point. Now, the big challenge is Justin Herbert's hand. How is it going to hold up in cold weather now too? He's basically a week out from his surgery, give or take. He'll always be at the 2-week mark since his surgery. He's still out there playing with a cast and everything too. I have no idea what to take from this one. The only one I could say is, hey, look, Chargers come off of a huge win. Now we're going to Arrowhead. That's always a tough place to play. It is a cold weather game, which is a good challenge for Justin Herbert and the Chargers to see how they play in a cold weather type situation. Our luck, it'll probably end up being 76 degrees and perfect out there, but who knows? I haven't looked at the weather yet. But, are the Chiefs defeated? This is going to be one of those games where if they just decide, hey, season's over with, pack it up, call it a season. We'll see what happens here. But bottom line, it's going to take 10 wins for a playoff spot in the AFC. And, this is a must win for the Chiefs. I'm still going to choose my Chargers. I think they just got a little bit of edge right now. I think they got a little bit of momentum right now. And this would be a big win just to solidify a playoff spot for them. So let's go Chargers.
James is going to take his Chargers. Marcus, let's go down to you for the other half of this game. Do you think that this is a game the Chiefs can finally get right?
I mean, it's division games, so generally I would always say split here. We lost the first game, but again, it's going to come down to the injury report. I don't know what the status is of our right tackle and right guard situation because, I mean, as we saw last night, that Chargers front is feisty. So, and we saw in the first game of the season, they're in Mahomes' face all night long. So, and that was with our entire crop of guys. Again, it was week 1 of the season, but still, yeah, it's a tough one. Even looking at the kind of historical measures of his last 5 games playing in Kansas City. Chargers are 2-3 last 5 against Kansas City at Kansas City. Game Sunday be about 40 degrees, about 10 miles per hour winds at 1 o'clock on or noon in Kansas City on Sunday. It's tough to pick right now just because I don't know what the injury report's going to look like. Because if we do have the same crop of guys that were there on Sunday, I feel like we lose the game. But if those guys are back, if Juwan Taylor and Trey Smith are back on Sunday, I'd go us. Well, okay, so let's say they are back this week. I'll take the Chiefs if our offensive line is back this week. Betting wise, it's 50-50 split right now on straight up, and the Chiefs are 4.5-point favorite at home. About 70% of the money is on the Chargers to cover the spread of 4.5 points, which I'm not surprised there. That's probably where I would go with it because I think if we do win, we win by a field goal. So I would take the Chargers in the spread. So,
All right. So looks like on a technicality, you can kind of go either way here for Marcus. So, hey, say 6 or 7. We're not exactly sure. We'll find out next week when we come back here. But, speaking of 6-7, let's go on over to Samoan. I know that's kind of your thing here of today's episode. So what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is just like the Bronco game. There's going to be another big one, especially in division. And when it comes to those in division matchups, it really doesn't matter what the record is. It's always going to come down to the wire. And I mean, Chargers have been on a roll. They've been inconsistent so far this year. The Chiefs are fighting for something, and I feel like this is a game that they would definitely want to get. And knowing how bad the offensive line is for the Chargers and how well the Chiefs defensive line stacked up against the last week against the Texans, and especially playing at home as well. I mean, it could go either way, honestly, but I'm gonna just swing towards the Chiefs' way, just because I feel like they have something to fight for in this game, and they're gonna want to try to bounce back. And this is basically their last hope in the season. If they lose this one, then I think the playoffs is really out of the picture for them. But yeah, I got the Chiefs winning this one this week.
All right, Samoan's going to take the Chiefs. Ryan, let's go on up to you. This is a big one for you. I know if you could take both teams to lose, you certainly would pick that, but which team are you going to take to win?
Oof. It's tough right now, considering Herbert's injury and like the weather. I think I do think that's a big factor. Because while they did play gritty against the Eagles and got that win, I just don't know if Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to have that many self-inflicting wounds after the game that they just had against the Texans. And especially since it's a home game as well, I actually wouldn't mind the Chiefs winning, because this would help the Broncos' chances to secure that #1 spot in the AFC West. So I do think the Chiefs will win, actually. I think ultimately just Herbert just being a little bit banged up is going to be a little bit too much, and depending what the weather is as well, which it will be cold, I think that's going to be a factor as well for this Chargers team.
All right, so Ryan's going to take the Chiefs. This is where we kick it off to you guys. Who do you think is going to win in a big in-division matchup for Week 15? Let us know in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and let's get into the final game now. We got the Philadelphia Eagles. We got the Raiders. The Eagles, who are 8-5, and then the Raiders, who are 2-11. Eagles not really looking like the Eagles this year, but they are coming off of a loss, so maybe a little bit of extra motivation if they do want to make sure that they do get into the postseason this year. Samoan, let's kick this off to you. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I mean, the Eagles struggled last week, and it was totally bad, especially for Jalen Hurts and the rest of their team offensively. But I mean, they're playing the Raiders. They're going to be at home, and I'm not expecting much out of the Raiders to come out of this game and win. Like I said earlier, I don't think we have an identity offensively. I feel like the defense can show up, but the offense, I don't have no trust in. Now, it would be interesting if Kenny Pickett got the nod to play in this game, and maybe it'll be a little bit competitive, but I still think at the end of the day, the Eagles should win this one comfortably. But to our luck, I feel like the Raiders, man, if they win this one, I don't even know how to feel. Like, I feel like I'd be happy, but I'm like, damn, bro, yeah, all of a sudden I want to win. So it goes back and forth, but I think the Eagles got this one in the bag. I don't have that much trust in my team.
Short, simple, sweet, to the point. Samoan's got his Raiders losing. Let's go on up to you, Ryan. What are your thoughts?
I think the Eagles are kind of tumbling down right now. I think their OC, I forgot his name. He's just awful. Like, he can't use Saquon properly. It's just a mess over there, and I think the Raiders might have found something with Kenny Pickett. At least as long as he plays, I think the Raiders do have a very real chance at winning this game. Raiders have a solid defense, man. Really good defensive coordinator, in my opinion. That's why he's last 2 other regimes. He's been there for how many years now? Head coaches. This is his third.
Yeah, the third regime.
Yeah. This is the third regime. So he's a solid guy. He game planned the Broncos very well. In that first meetup between the Broncos and the Raiders. So I think there's a very real chance that the Raiders can win this game. It's in Philly is what it looks like. So that is a factor. I don't know. But this hey, remember what I said, guys. This might be one of those games where the Raiders, they win that they don't need to win against a solid team, and it kind of screws up their chances in the draft or their position. and I think this is going to be one of them. I think the Raiders are going to win.
No, we don't need this one, dog.
Wow, Ryan has the Raiders winning this game. Let's see if anybody else on the panel also has them pulling off the upset. James, let's go on over to you. Who do you have winning this one?
I mean, I would like to see that too, Ryan. For the Raiders to basically win this one, they end up getting it back, top 10 pick. They pick a trash player again, doesn't work out again and everything too from that point. But anyways, regardless, we'll see what happens on this one. But there's no way the Raiders are going to win this one. I think the Eagles are just going to come back and play well in this one. If the Raiders end up winning this one, Lincoln Financial Field will absolutely explode and all those Eagles fans will start throwing chairs on the field. I guarantee that. There's no way. There's no way the Eagles are losing this one. So Eagles for sure, they're winning.
All right, James is going to take the Eagles in this one. Marcus, wrap us up with today's episode. Who are you taking?
I'll go Eagles. I think Eagles are coming for blood after the last two games, the Bears and last night's game. 7-7 all time, but both teams are. It's right now we're locked even between the Raiders and Eagles. 7-7 all time. Eagles are 5-2 at home against the Raiders historically. The spread of this game is 11.5 points. 95% of the money is on the Eagles to win this game. About 59% of the money is on the Eagles to cover the 11.5 points, and I do think they're going to cover the 11.5 points against the Raiders. So I'll go Eagles this week as a bounce back for the last two games they've lost.
All right, well, let's come back next week and see if Ryan, who's riding the hot hand this week, as we know he loves to do, let's see if he ultimately ends up being right. Only one way to find out, and that is to tune in and next Tuesday live, same time, same place, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. But that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. This is where we kick it off to you guys. What are your thoughts? Who do you have winning? Who do you have losing? Let us know in the comment section below. Remember to hit that big like button on the way out to help support us here at the AFC West Roundtable. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to these guys' individual channels, links in the description box below to get exclusive content about each of their respective teams. But until next Tuesday, we appreciate you guys for watching. We'll catch you next week.
Roundtable Sports Network is your one-stop shop for all things NFL, with daily live shows covering all 8 divisions in the league, hosted by the best content creators on the web, all on one network. Catch the AFC East live every Monday at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The AFC North Roundtable live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The NFC East Roundtable live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. The NFC West Roundtable live at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. The NFC North Roundtable is at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and the NFC South Roundtable is live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. EST. And of course, fourth and forever, the flagship show of Roundtable Sports Network covering all things NFL at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Roundtable Sports YouTube channel. Real coverage, real fans.